We all dream of a life where we can sit back knowing our bills are paid without touching our savings. That is the beauty of living off dividends. But how do you figure out the magic number needed to fund your lifestyle solely from dividends? In this video, we are going to dive into the details on how to live off dividends forever. First off, forget the whole complicated jargon. We are talking about crunching numbers to match your yearly expenses with the cash flowing in from your investments. It is like setting up a piggy bank where your dividends pay the bills with a little extra for those unexpected curveballs life throws your way. So where do you start? Get together with your calculator and tally up your annual living costs. Then look at your portfolio and estimate how much money you could earn from these dividend stocks. But remember, the goal is to earn as much money as you will need to cover your yearly expenses. Moreover, you have to be smart in your approach. Remember to account for yearly inflation and unexpected expenses. In the long run, living off dividends isn't just about making your money work for you. It's about creating a financial plan that lets you live on your own terms. So why live on dividends? And is it worth it? You see, dividends are probably the simplest way to start replacing your income with less money than you might expect. However, there is a catch we will get into soon. That's why it is important to discuss whether dividend investing is worth it and how much money you will realistically need to replace your income. In the United States, the average retirement age over the years has increased to 67. This means if you start working in your early 20s, you would have less than 47 years before retiring. For most people, the idea of working their entire lives isn't very appealing, but there is a solution. When it comes to replacing your income, here is my honest opinion. Dividends are fun because they kind of feel like you're getting free money from the internet. Now, let's leave the magic tricks to the professionals. Here's the fun part. Dividends are great because they are more stable compared to the stock market. As we have seen over the past year, the market can be chaotic, but dividends tend to be more predictable. This predictability provides consistent cash flow, which is great for smoothing out market fluctuations. Plus, dividend payments are generally less volatile than stock prices. Imagine planning to retire at 55 and kick back, letting your stocks do all the heavy lifting. You would certainly be living the dream, right? Unfortunately, that would not be achievable if you have a low dividend yield. Of course, there are many opportunities to earn passive income, but these dividend payments are very simple and straightforward and provide true financial freedom. Imagine making an investment once and receiving dividends for the rest of your life. That's the magic of dividend investing. However, they aren't always guaranteed. Companies usually try to keep paying them, but sometimes they have to cut or stop dividends, especially if they aren't making any profit. During tough times, they might pause dividends until things get better. Also, getting dividends doesn't help if the company's stock value drops. The stock price might recover and you could keep getting dividends, but it might not, which is something to consider. So while there can be tax advantages, there can also be tax disadvantages. Depending on where you call home, those dividend checks might come with a lower tax bill than with other cash flowing into your wallet. Meanwhile, dividends aren't just about the money. They're also a window into a company's soul. And get this, dividend payouts aren't just about spoiling shareholders. They are a wake-up call for company bigwigs too. Knowing they have to keep those dividends flowing keeps management on their toes, making sure every dollar is spent wisely and every investment is a smart move. And even while dividends may sound like a dream come true, let's not overlook their not-so-perfect side. First off, they are not set in stone like the interest payments you get from bonds. If a company hits a rough patch, those juicy dividends could shrink or vanish faster than ice cream on a hot day. Plus, don't bank on them being consistent. They are like a roller coaster ride, up one minute, down the next, depending how well the company's doing or what the stock market's up to. Moreover, companies that dish out dividends might be holding back on investing in their own growth. That means fewer exciting projects in the pipeline and potentially slower long-term progress. And let's not forget about inflation, the silent thief of your investment returns. But how do we calculate the dividend yield for a company's stock? Let's take Coca-Cola, for example. According to Google Finance, the big company pays an annual dividend of $1.94 per share. Meanwhile, the stock price is $63.92 per Coca-Cola share. This brings it down to an overall dividend yield of 3.04%. This means that for every $100 you invest in Coca-Cola stock, you could expect to receive $3.04 in annual dividends. Since the company operates in the consumer goods industry, this makes it less volatile than other industries, which provides stability to its stock price and dividend. And even though most people believe you need a fortune to live off dividends, that's not entirely true. Let's debunk the myth that you need over $1 million to live on dividends. The fact is, you don't have to invest millions of dollars to live on dividends. Here's how you can manage the little you have to get started. First things first, get an estimate made of your living expenses. A lot of people underestimate this critical factor. Plus, there is the ever-present inflation to consider. Nevertheless, a clear image of your financial needs will get you closer than you can imagine. Let's simplify the numbers game of living off dividends. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, if you are observing a median single-person salary of around $59,384 per year, your yield must match your expenses. If you are banking on a 2% dividend yield, you would need roughly $2,969,200 stashed away in your investment portfolio to rake in that $59,384 annually. Bump that yield up to 3%, and suddenly you are looking at $1,979,467 to hit the same income target. Aim for a 4% yield, and your portfolio shrinks even more to about $1,484,600. If you're feeling lucky with a 5% yield, you would need around $1,187,680 to enjoy that steady flow of dividends. And for the high rollers aiming for a 6% yield, your investment portfolio could clock in at a cool $989,733.33 to cover your living expenses. For what it's worth, dividends offer a sweet deal. Unlike other investments that might roller coaster with market moods, dividend-paying stocks tend to be the sturdy oaks in your portfolio. Steady, dependable, and less likely to send your blood pressure soaring. However, it is super important that you keep an eye on the payout ratio. If the ratio is too high, it could mean the company would end up crashing as they may not be sustainable in the long run. Might seem odd, but companies gotta cover essential expenses like operating costs and paying off debts to keep running. Sure, big dividend payouts for a few quarters or a year can look great, but not if it means the company is going to wimp out. On the other hand, a company that provides an extremely low payout ratio is also as bad. You may just end up cheating yourself when there are better opportunities out there. So you want to aim for a balanced payout ratio that lets the company pay dividends while also reinvesting in itself. Now you should start figuring out how much you can comfortably withdraw from your portfolio after retirement, along with any income from things like Social Security or pensions. Your 401k or IRA withdrawals may also play a part here. Estimating your retirement expenses can help you see how much dividend income you will need to cover any gaps left by other sources. This can also guide your investment choices, helping you pick dividend stocks that generate enough returns to meet your needs. Keep in mind, some dividend stocks offer higher returns than others. So let's see how far your dividend can work for you. Currently, the average annual salary is about $63,000. So most times when people retire, they usually spend about 25% less than when they were working, which is something to think about when planning for retirement. So let's say you aim for $50,000 a year in retirement income. This could be different for you, but it is a good starting point. To get $50,000 a year from dividends, you would need a portfolio with around $1.2 million with an average dividend yield of 4%. But if you are getting Social Security, that cuts down what you need from your dividends. The average Social Security benefit is about $20,000 a year. This means to make up the extra $30,000 from dividends, you would only need a portfolio of $750,000 with a 4% dividend yield. If you have a pension income or money coming in from a side hustle, that could also lower how much you need from dividends. So you can mix dividend payouts with other income to cover your expenses, even if you are not living off dividends alone. Remember, this is just a rough example. Your situation might be different depending on things like how much your portfolio's dividends pay out. Meanwhile, putting all your eggs in the dividend basket could mean missing out on other investment opportunities. This is why, before you start investing, it is super important you have all the information needed. You can spend hours digging through obscure reports to find useful details. This is why it is essential to use a platform that gives you access to the tools and information you need to make smart investment choices. Moreover, there are sites that help with dividend calculations, manage your investments, and make informed decisions. Do you think your lifestyle and daily routines will help you achieve financial independence through dividends? You have made it to the end of this video. Meanwhile, we would love to know your thoughts in the comments section. Once again, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. To access other videos like this, tap the bell icon to turn on post notifications. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.